what are the things the next president of Nigeria should prioritize? I have four amazing youths here with me, and they'll be introducing themselves quickly before we start ahead. I have Jeremiah. Jeremiah, let's start with Jeremiah.
Good evening, guys. My name is Jeremiah George. I'm a cocktails mixologist, a bar consultant, and a restaurant consultant. I'm also a resident mixology tutor at the Culinary Place, and I'm a member of Culinary Arts Practitioners of Nigeria, which is Kappa.
Excellent. All right, Bola.
I said good evening everyone and thank you for the invite. So my name is Adebola Olatunbosun. A fintech expert, finance and investment expert also. Over the last 10 to 11 years, I've worked across multiple local and international organizations responsible for fundraising, investors management and the likes. On the side, I also run my own company known as Spark, which also responsible for helping small startup businesses to scale responsibly in Nigeria and globally. And nice to be here, nice to connect with the team.
Thank you very much. Okay, I think we have Syria.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Sarah. I'm an entrepreneur. I make male traditional outfits and I host my own podcast too, but it's like I've abandoned it. I don't know.
All right, thank you very much for being here, everybody. I want us to start quickly. There is a quote credited to Nelson Mandela where he said, "Until everyone respects Africa, Nigeria, the whole Africa will be respected." And there is another quote by Professor Lumumba. He said, "Until Africa, Nigeria wakes up." These guys tie the destiny of Africa to Nigeria's success. So that is why I want to quickly ask this question, because the topic says, of course, what are the things the next president of Nigeria should prioritize, knowing that we are close to an election that will probably determine our destiny. I want to quickly ask the question, what is the problem with Nigeria? And I will start with Bola. I want you to just give us shortly, what do you think is the problem with Nigeria?
Interesting. I think realizing that we have a problem is the first thing to note. And like you rightly mentioned when you started that Nigeria, until Africa wakes up, when Nigeria wakes up, then is when the other continent is going to wake up. So the major problem in Nigeria over time can be linked to leadership. Every other problem that we have, in a way or the other, hangs on that dangling bell that we call leadership. So we've been able to have one or two leaders that have been great in time past, perhaps during the military era, that had the tenacity to effect change. However, we see that increasingly Nigeria is becoming a country that is, I don't want to use the word too big to govern. However, if we have the right leaders in power, that are not just leaders but have the power to drive execution, I think half of the problem, let's say 50% of the problem of Nigeria will be solved. There are many problems that are quite systemic, and I'm sure the other speakers are going to touch base.
Jerry, what do you think?
Oh, I like what the first speaker said, but I'm going to slightly differ in the sense that I think the major problem with Nigeria are Nigerians, the people, not the leaders. Because, before they get to the positions of power, positions of leadership, they have to start from somewhere. So if the core Nigerian, the average Nigerian out there has a problem, definitely if he's now if he ascends like a higher office, that little problem we had would be amplified. So I think the people are the problem to Nigeria.
Okay, Sarah, what do you think?
I agree with Jerry. I think the problem of Nigeria and Nigerians really, because our leaders are a reflection of us. Exactly. We don't even like ourselves. So why do you think our leaders would be one heavily being that would come and change everything?
Okay.
Have you seen how we treat each other?
Okay. But if we say the problem with Nigeria is Nigeria, I think Bola mentioned something systemic, meaning the problem might be deeper than we think. Are you sure we are not just being unnecessarily unfair to ourselves when we say the problem with Nigeria is Nigerians? Because sometimes it has to start from a deeper root. Maybe that is why I want us to quickly remember Nigeria's beginning. The country just started existing, I think, 1960. It was partially protectorate around the 1914. So in other nations, we have people who the people are the ones who come together to determine their own destiny. Don't you think the Nigerian problem started because we were compelled to coexist? I know we may say that other nations who were ex-colonies have succeeded, in actualizing their dreams as a country. But Nigeria seems to be very, very diverse, over 600 multi-ethnic groups. So the question is, would it be fair to say Nigerians are the problem, or it was laid on a shaky foundation? I want you guys to hold that thought first before I ask the next question. Now that you guys have mentioned these key things, what do you think it will take to fix Nigeria? I'll start with Bola again, please. I know you said something about leadership.
So let me give this quote. I know this is not a philosophy class, but I think that will shed more light on it. Right. This quote that says, the greatest want of the world is the want of men, men who would not be sold nor bought, men who in their innermost soul are true and honest, men who would stand for the truth even though everyone will fall, men who would not fear to call sin by its right name. So to be honest with you, one of the ways we can solve this problem is if we have someone that has that tenacity to drive change. Now, as big and as systemic as the problem itself is, where we say we have people here and the truth of the matter is that you can't put, it's going to be an aberration if we have 10 to 20 people in this room and their thought process is aligned. It's impossible. However, it takes one person to have a strategic vision to be able to make you to see that what the person is trying to move with, what the person is trying to want, what the person is trying to sell is something that you can buy into. Now, if you decide to take a bet on that person, be it a 10% bet, a 20% bet, a 30% bet on that person, you would not only, your respect for that particular person's mandate would not change will only change rather when you begin to see results come, because what everybody wants is results. We want to see that no matter where you come from, no matter what your thought process is, we are being able to see change happening itself. So I believe strongly that if we have people that can demonstrate, because you can't, there is hardly no country in the world that does not have that systemic problem of people. You understand? You can't, even in Dubai, I remember some years back in Dubai, there are some suburbs in Dubai that are so messed up, like the markets in Lagos Island. There are some suburbs in America that are so messed up. And you start wondering yourself, is this truly America? Is this truly United? Is this truly London? Is this truly Dubai like it is? So you always have that people problem. However, if the person at the forefront is someone that has this passion to change, to move things and change things.
What if this person does not have a model to look up to? Most of these people inherited. They inherited from a colonial master who already brought the vision. I don't know if you get my point. Some of these, maybe because the reason why the country is this way is because you mentioned leadership. So what if these leaders do not have anybody to look up to?
What if the leaders don't have anybody to look up to? Then you select the leaders.
You have a predecessor. You have someone who you are supposed to look up to in terms of, a perfect leadership. I can categorically tell you right now that most of the issues Nigerians have been having, if you look at the manifestos of the 1960s to the 70s, they have the same thing. And ethnicity, ethnocentrism, all this chauvinism, tribalism, they've been consistent. Is it that the nation didn't inherit a very good model of leadership? I know we may say we were colonized by the Europeans, but let's not forget that the Europeans created us as a machinery for the development of Europe. Mm-hmm. I don't think colonialism was meant to flourish, to make Africa flourish. Maybe that is why we don't have a good leader and a good model of leadership, because it's not working. You mentioned the military guys, they came, they did their thing, although most of them left some sustainable development. But with the riches the country has right now, it seems as if he doesn't have a good model of leadership to look up to. Because what if it was not designed? It was not designed to favor the people. What if it's I don't know if you guys get my point.
Yeah, I get you. But like you said, the whole colonization was not done to improve Africa. And most times, I think most people don't even know what Africa was like before the whole colonization happened. Most people have not taken their time to read on or watch YouTube videos or make researches
Because
of
we are
what
using their laws. We are using their laws. We are using. I don't know if you guys get me.
I get you. I get where you're coming from. I mean, it just reminds me of an article that I read a while back. It was on politics in sub-Saharan Africa, and it's literally is the same across all the countries in sub-Saharan Africa, where there is always the option for the people to choose between the lesser of two evils.
Right.
You understand? And then there's always like the leading party, the opposition party. But at the end of the day, the real parties are the rich and the poor. Like basically, it's
Yeah.
a business structure that has been created. Like that's what politics literally is in Nigeria and in sub-Saharan Africa. It's a business structure.
You were going to recommend one single antidote for Nigeria right now, like to fix the problem. What would it be? I know you mentioned leadership. Would you say the leadership is a very good leader actually? Because if you mention it, if you give a leader, if you say leadership is the solution, what if he's not able to continue the legacy? I just want to see your perspective.
So you're taking a bet, Francis.
Okay.
You're taking a bet on people. So Nigeria is bigger than anybody in this room. You get.
Definitely.
That's the truth. And I think there's a, I don't know, I think I just dropped it in the chat. There's a Netflix series, some of us might have seen it. It's called The Journey of an African Colony on Netflix.
Okay.
If you have not, after now, go watch it. So you understand deep how deeply rooted Nigeria is
problems are,
about.
right?
Yeah, from, you understand, from colonial times and stuff like that. So I think the focus here is we have messed up, or we are not, we have messed up. We are messed up. We are messed up. Like, so messed up.
I think
And
there
we
was a continuous tense there.
Okay, or we are messing up. So the truth of the matter is that how can we salvage some level of change? You understand? If you should leave Nigeria in the hands of people, let's say laissez-faire system, everybody just run it the way you want to, it will be messed up. We still need, this is going to be even worse than it is already. You get what I'm saying? I remember I had a conversation with someone and I said, I think one of the problem of Nigeria is we've grown so large that even for the central government to manage the country itself, it's a big task. Exactly. We've grown so large and we don't have the infrastructure, we don't have the technology, we don't have that level of advancement, and we're not looking like we're going to have it anytime soon. So,
And I think this is why anybody that's going to become president does not need to follow any
laid down, yeah.
any laid down plan or anything.
Wow.
Because they don't have anything to work with. If they choose to follow any laid down plan, nothing is going to change, nothing is going to work. I feel like you should just come, make your own research, and just do what you think is right. Because
Basically,
if you
that's from scratch.
plan that anybody has laid down or any predecessor has laid down, you don't have anything to work with, really. You have nothing to work with. That is just what I think.
I agree.
yeah.
Okay, so let me just get one word from you guys. Jerry, for you, what do you think is the antidote?
What do I think is?
What do you think is the antidote to fix Nigeria? If it was a one push button, would you say?
So permit me to say not to fix Nigeria. Nigeria can be fixed here. Maybe to patch Nigeria a little bit.
Yes,
Next
just
one.
not small patching.
That's the word. That is the word to
Yeah.
patch.
Patch it
Because
small.
it can be fixed. Because I mean, one of the things I did because I studied geography in university, and one of the courses I did was I had an assignment where I had to like discover all the ethnic groups in the country, and I realized that we had over 325 active ethnic groups, and like. What country was that? The Hutus and the Tutsis. It was just too long, two ethnic groups, and they massacred themselves. Like, so you can imagine we having this number, and it's a good thing we're still together so far. I mean, it's a really good thing, but it's a huge challenge. Like he said, Nigeria is too large to be governed by just one
person.
person
that
exactly.
federal-
So
I think there was this federal structure thing that was happening before.
yes,
Maybe that is what could have happened there because we're over 200 million.
That would have worked.
Okay,
But
so
then
let's give you
another challenge I think that they
Oh,
had that they did not see.
guys, we have. Hi, guys. We have someone from the UK. Sorry, guys. Chineme,
Okay, that's fine.
she's supposed to be working, but she said she could just breeze in and say something and leave. So, Chineme, if you're here and you can hear us, we have the floor for you. You could just see what you want to say. Just let us know. Thank you very much. All right.
Hi,
Hello.
Hi,
hi.
Chineme. What's up?
good, good afternoon. I'm very fine, thank you. I'm sorry, I just had to, I just had COVID right now quickly.
All right.
Um,
So, what do you think? What do you think?
yeah. Okay, so based on the question you asked me yesterday,
Yeah.
so I've been thinking really, and honestly, there are lots and lots of areas where the president, coming in needs to focus on. But looking at where I am right now, and being in a country where they have a system that works, just makes me look back at Nigeria. You know what? I think one place that I would say that the incoming president should actually, or
Okay.
I would say one of the places, you see, that I think we should place more focus on is maybe creating job opportunities.
Okay.
Because, why am I saying that? Because now, in this country, or let's say in the UK here, you can hardly find somebody without a job. I mean, um even if he's going to just even if he's going to just switch on people's lights at their offices,
Hmm.
they get paid for it. So like there is dignity of labor here. Nobody that like I don't know how to explain it, but
So,
I
is
think the
dignity of labor
government
true,
still just
like you just
helps
said?
them create a system. Yes, so the government just helps them create a system where you cannot say that you cannot get a job, even if even like okay, some jobs I've applied for, like I mean big companies because of course I'm also I plan to get a sponsorship a sponsorship job very soon.
Yeah.
So like companies that I'm even applying to, you check their requirements, like excuse me, you check their requirements and you see that they'll say one of the requirements will be have at least a they call it GCSE, which is our WAEC back in Nigeria. It's like you literally go for a job interview and the manager of the organization just has a diploma. But trust me, they are making waves in that organization. Like they are doing things. So it's like everybody has an opportunity to get a job. Okay, so um there are even jobs here that you don't even need to like you literally don't even need to go to school set to get. For instance, working as a healthcare assistant, although I know I used to work there before, but I now work as a teaching assistant. So working as a healthcare assistant is like you literally don't even have to have any you don't even have to have any work experience. Like these are things
Yeah.
that we even do back home. You see, taking care of people, taking care of your
It's
loved
truly dignity
ones.
in labor, like you just said. So,
Exactly.
if you had one button to fix
Okay.
something in Nigeria, what will it be?
It's still in this area of creating job opportunities for
Job
people,
opportunities.
honestly.
All right. Thank you very much
Mm-hmm.
for actually choosing to stop by. We didn't see your face, but yeah, actually very great. Thank you. You're
You're
there, right?
welcome.
Thank you for actually honoring this invitation. Thank you very much. And yeah,
You're
success in the
welcome.
sponsorship thing and everything. Hope it works out well.
Amen. Oh, amen. Thank
All right,
you.
bye. Oh, you can still hang around. You can
Hi,
still hang
Chineke.
around. You can still hang around in case just meet your
Yeah, I
friends.
can still hang around. Yeah, for
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
I
All
can
right,
still hang around. But once I'm about to go out, I'll let you know.
all right.
Oh,
Cheers.
that's fine.
Right, eyes on. Okay, I
Thank
think before we stop, before Chineke came in, I was what asked Sarah one question. That's
No,
um, sorry, Jerry. Please, you raise your hand. What do you want to say? You want to say something?
Yeah, so if you were asking me what was the one thing I think an
Yes, I was
incoming
asking you.
president did, I would say it's the civil service.
Civil service.
People underrate and underestimate the power the civil service has. You want to get a new passport, they will make your life hell. Do you want to do anything, literally, electricity,
Oh my
anything,
god. You just
I mean, so if you like change people at the top, if you cannot work your way, like the cleaners, the office assistants, the secretaries, the file keepers, if you cannot fix those people, I mean, trust me, you can put someone at the top. The person will literally just be a figurehead,
True.
and it will not work.
They will frustrate the mechanism that is supposed to
They will,
work.
they will frustrate everything the person is doing.
Sarah, what do you think if you were to have like one button? What would that button be to just fix everything? One button.
To fix everything.
Yeah.
Mm.
Who that button
I
would
would.
break?
I think I would want them to increase minimum wage.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if they increase and inflation keeps just going higher and higher and higher? And
What I
it's simple. Then we have a
if
finance expert.
it keeps going higher and higher, and the minimum wage is still the way it is. It has not changed. So I feel like increasing the minimum wage is a start of something.
Right.
Like it's going to help. It's going to reduce the way at which they frustrate other people. Okay, let me give you an instance. I went to Laos to do something 2 weeks ago, and the lady just kept. She was just whining and whining and whining and whining, and I think I got angry. And I was like, "Why are you whining? Is this not what you were paid to do?" And she was like, "How much did they pay them? That she cannot do more than what she's being paid for."
But do you think if they, like Chineye said, she said dignity in labor. You
Dignity
think
in
if
labor,
they
yeah.
were paying down
Let me
for
tell
1
you something.
million?
Even if they create more jobs, I don't know. For somebody like I worked in a firm for 2 years before I stopped working for people and decided to learn a skill and start working for myself. And I can tell you this for a fact that Nigerians will frustrate you to give you the smallest jobs to do.
You
And this is
think-
for someone that run a cleaning business for years. I'm telling you, there's dignity in
Sarah, you mentioned something that reminded me about something. You see, I don't want us to forget the real people that we are, even though we have modern identities that calls us Nigeria now. Do you know
yeah.
we are the only people that give out cash as gifts? Do you know we're the only people that our relationship to modern society? Nigerians, we're the only ones that expect money for doing the job. It is, I think, is it an African thing? Like, tell me,
No, it's
thank
not
you,
a Nigerian thing, actually.
It's not
give me
African thing.
respect. But even if okay, if I'm going to collect my school certificate, I'm supposed to kneel down and tell the person, thank you for giving me my certificate.
And I think it's
toxic cultural
I think
things
it's
that weigh us
I
back.
think it's unfair. Okay, so let me give you an instance. When I run a cleaning service that is on hold right now. I don't know if I'm going to start it up again because of my experiences, but I can tell you that you know how Chineye said there's dignity in labor. Most Nigerians don't see it that way. They think if you are doing a certain kind of job, it makes you beneath them, and they need to treat you like trash. I think this is why I say most of the problems we have as Nigerians, it's like a Nigerian thing. You don't expect us to have a perfect leader when we ourselves, we are inwardly, we are not really good people. Let me give you an instance. So the time I went to clean somebody's house, I went to my cleaners to clean somebody's house because it's a big house and I didn't want them to go alone. And I was working with some elderly ladies there. And if you see the way the woman treated us like we were scum of the earth. I get that I came
It's
to
too
render
dignity in
a
labor now. Maybe we don't have. We just don't have that.
I get that I came to render a service, but the least you could do is treat me with respect, even if you're going to pay me for it. But an average Nigeria thinks because they are paying you for a service you're rendering, they need to treat you like trash.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys have not
It's a
experienced it
cultural
before, but
thing then. It's partially
and that is
cultural.
why I am insisting that Nigerian, like this whole thing of the way Nigeria
Service is
is, I
looked
think
upon. It's looked down upon actually. Service.
I
That's
think
why probably
I
it's together.
think I think even as as much as we want a good leader, we want a good president, I feel like we also need to work on changing our mindset. Let's give an instance. This whole corruption thing. Corruption has eaten into every sector in Nigeria. Every single sector in Nigeria is really, really.
If we don't monitor this conversation, we're going to sleep.
I think maybe Ghana, because if history, as if what we've heard in history is true, we're told that, or we read that Ghanaians, or Ghana was in a very horrible state. At some point, a lot of them even had to move to Nigeria and all of that stuff. So if Ghana can reform their stuff and change that kind of thing, I think Nigerians should be able to learn from them too, because they are better than us in every way right now.
If you look at the model of Rwanda, there you would see, aside the people orientation, you see how they had the mindsets even from the very top to implement some levels of change. Yeah. I would say what Nigeria can do is to be able to, in a way, concentrate a bit of more power at the state level, since, like I said, I feel it's too big to control, and implement change state by state, region by region, and local. Hello?
I said even local government by local government.
Exactly, local government by local government, and implement the change. What is going on in Lagos now, where we say everyone is celebrating the incumbent governor, are basic necessities that when you get to the Western country, you see that these things are there. You get. So for me, I think there are countries we can emulate. The willingness to change and implement changes more of what is needed.
I agree with Bola in that regard. If there's any African country that I would say we can look up to like copy a few things from, it would be Rwanda. Because I mean, and if you check what Kagame did, he literally deviated from the norm completely, and that's why Rwanda. Like if you check, most of the Western leaders do not like Kagame because he's not pandering to their whims and caprices, which is why, to an extent, they've been able to succeed, seemingly. So another thing I think I would add is if we can move away from the total dependence on oil, because another thing killing us in this country is the oil curse. If you check all the countries that have oil, apart from the Middle Eastern countries, even the Middle Eastern countries, it's just the Emirates that are doing well. All the other countries that have oil, I mean, the Europeans and Americans have not let them have peace.
Right now, you may not necessarily fix this, but we can still patch up things. So the election is probably one of that avenue. What kind of leader do you guys think Nigeria needs right now? Have you had that? What kind of leader does Nigeria want first? Let's get that out of the way. What kind of leaders do you think Nigerians want?
I think the kind of leader would Nigeria needs.
No, let's not do needs first. Let's do wants.
Okay, so if we're looking at wants, to be honest, I don't think Nigerians know what they want.
Yeah.
If we're being honest here, the average Nigerian doesn't know what the average Nigerian doesn't know what they want. They just want to be able to eat daily and not be killed. Yes.
They have access to basic necessities.
Yes,
so
which is why
someone from the ethnic group to represent.
Somebody price 5,000 naira and they will vote the person in. But if we're going to look at what Nigeria needs, Nigeria needs a leader that has vision and that is willing to follow through with his vision and inspire people.
And go against people too.
Yeah, which is following through with your vision. Definitely, not everybody will be. Even Jesus had 12 disciples and had a betrayal. So not everybody will agree with you, but you should be able to do the needful. Like if someone needs to be cut off, you should be able to cut them off. You should be able to do the needful. So, yes.
Let me hear from Sarah. What kind of leader do you think Nigeria wants firstly?
Most Nigerians, I think they just want access to basic necessity. Light.
So they want a leader that will provide something like that for them.
The basic, yeah.
Yeah, a leader that can just provide this basic necessity first. I think it's lack of basic necessity, lack of having the basic things that will make somebody be comfortable with selling their votes for 5,000, 2,000, 500. 1,500.
So what kind of leader do you think Nigerians need now?
I think one of the qualities the leader that Nigeria needs should have is empathy.
Empathy.
The leader should be empathetic. The leader should see what people are going through and know that they literally fought for their life and fought for you to be here, because they know that you can at least meet them halfway. You can at least do something. You can at least change something. Because the truth is, everybody's feeling it right now. So we need a leader that is empathetic.
Okay.
I think this past few days should have shown us that it's not us against us. It's us against this whole craziness going on. And that is what we should all be fighting against. So I think we just need a leader that is empathetic. A leader that is kind and empathetic. A leader that knows what he wants to do and doesn't need to start taking orders from people. I think that's one of the problems our leaders have. They think they need to listen to everybody talk. Sometimes just give orders. You're the commander in chief.
It's very easy to misrepresent all those leaders, because Nigeria is multi-ethnic. You have to represent interests from different places.
It's the thing where I say politics is like a business model. So if people invest in you, I mean, definitely they have to get returns on the investment, which is what we have been experiencing so far.
Yes, and this is why I think we're not just voting in one leader. We're voting in new leaders. Lots of leaders.
What do you think? What kind of leader do you think Nigerians want?
So let's like you said, want and need. What we want now is salvation. Yes, we are a sinking ship. So with names we tell, there are several political parties campaigning here and there.
Yeah.
And if you look at the direction of most youth now, some of them are not all are tending towards someone that is presumed to be
your brother or your sister.
Not brother or sister, and someone that presents an image of a savior, so to say. Yeah. So we are not really ready to do the dirty work of let's try to analyze the technicality around what the person is saying or not. We just need someone to save us. I want to go to buy fuel without having to pay extra money. I want to go to the ATM and ensure that I can get cash when I need it. I want the underemployment rate to improve. I want to be able to get let me just chime in this. I remember I was talking to a friend that after 10 years of work experience, you get a salary, you get a job that pays you roughly what an entry-level person in Canada or Australia earns. And it tells you how badly things are. Or you get to the UK and you see that they pay per hour, and Nigeria has refused, labor law has refused to pay you per hour. Labor is extremely cheap. So you are chilling in a car and you think you have arrived, but you're actually suffering. We are in prison and we need someone to save us. That is the truth. Many of us are what we even call the minimum wage. We're even asking to that we are looking for them to increase. It's even poverty rate. That is the truth. Even though you increase it by
poverty line, actually.
Yeah, even though you increase it by 2x, that's how bad things are. You understand? Exchange rate is something else we don't even want to go into. That is extremely off the hook. And the people
that conversation on its own.
You understand? So, and it takes just simple policies to align this in place. You understand? But for some, I don't know. I don't want to use curse words here, but for some reasons that are not, I don't know. People just decide, or someone somewhere just has decided not to implement change that it will take. That's going to be pretty easy for them to change. So what we need is a savior, someone that will give us maybe some. You know, when you go into Lagos traffic or my 12 and you are tired and you come back and you drink Sprite. You know that chill feeling you get from Sprite or from. That's what we need temporarily now, and we hope
respite.
Yeah, Sprite. Yeah, exactly. Just take that and you feel for a while. Now, what we need, I would align with what Jeremiah and Sarah had said on that. We don't know we are not ready for what we need here, because we saw traces of what we needed, and we decided to just throw it aside. We need like the Paul Kagame for Nigeria. We need I can't remember this guy that is late now, the former president leader of the Emirates in Dubai. We need someone like that.
Yes.
Like Nigeria. We need people like we need like a Trump in Nigeria, you understand? Yeah,
We
there is
don't
a great
like those three
yeah,
men.
yeah,
And then
exactly, and Mandela. Thank you. So that is what we need, and we can get it. You understand? But there are actually people in the system that are trying to sabotage all these things from them coming into reality. So that's what we need. That's how we can get the change that we desire. We need to know that we are highly underpaid. The ease of doing business is nothing to write home about. Our friends, our friends that are in the UK, I said it without any apologies. I've been to the UK a couple of times. It's a I don't know. It's a we are barely surviving. You get a teaching job or a home care job that pays you about £15. The only reason why someone in the UK, and I say this like I said carefully as well, is happy that they are in the UK is because that £15 you get, by the time you convert it to naira, it's big. But in the true sense of it, you and I know that the quality of if you are supposed to put your MSc and your BSc and whatever to match up with those people you are contending in the UK, you are far better than them on all standards. So Nigeria has now become a place whereby all the youths are running away to get barely more, escaping. Thank you, to live a life that is relatively decent because there is no hope for change. I don't know. We need a miracle actually, but I just hope that whoever comes into power in the next couple of weeks from now, whoever the person is, you understand, has that willingness to give us what we desire. This thing is not far-fetched. A 20-year-old guy can implement change. Look at the president of France, for instance, when he came into power. And that is why they will frustrate you. I don't know, many of us here are traveled, I presume. That's why they will frustrate you at the airport. They will even look, because you are green, they will frustrate your life. I'm telling you, even to get a visa, they will collect all your money, go to Ikoyi, go to VI, they will collect your money for US visa, and they will still deny you, and they will give one person visa in a day. Come on now, are we not tired of all this? And these guys in questions are guys that have diplomatic passport. They are not going through what we are going through here. So we hope Nigeria will get a Nigeria whereby anybody can be able to access basic necessity of life, you understand, without having to stoop too low to conquer. And that's my prayer. I hope that this general election coming this year will implement change. If not, we might as well just move this podcast to Canada or to UK.
It's virtual anyways.
I don't know if I meant to that, honestly.
Even people who are abroad, who are over there, there's some way, somehow, if you missed our previous episode, it's about Nigerian ladies based in the UK and the lives they live. And you can legit tell that these people miss home. They really miss that comfort that comes with,
I was speaking with one of my friends that is in the US. He said if Nigeria changes today, that he's going to get on the nice flight back home.
Very true. Many people come back.
That's why they're even more interested in the politics than we here.
Alone. He said all his years in Nigeria before he relocated finally to the US that he was never falling sick. That was since when he has been in this US, he's always sick. And he knows it's not because of anything, he's just homesick and the loneliness, nobody to talk to. That there was a time he was sick for a very long time. But it was just like, if I die now, nobody's going to know that I died though.
Very true. Very true. Everybody's minding their business.
Wow.
So a lot of people that are abroad would come back home if Nigeria just gets better a bit. People will be relocating back.
When Buhari came into power, a lot like there was this return. A lot of IJGBs came back to the country and set up businesses. And then the second tenure of Buhari's reign, they all folded up, packed up, and ran back. Like,
oh my god.
Yeah, so I mean, there were a lot of small businesses that started hoping that, this is a savior, this is much needed change, because that was what they publicized or they marketed.
This country is fucking a lot of things up. The Jackpot wave is fucking a lot of things up. You can't even talk to somebody and they don't ask you, do you have any plans to relocate?
My parents ask me that question like a lot of times, and I always laugh.
In 2021, he's a medical doctor, and we were vibing really well. And it was like, do you have plans to relocate anytime soon? I said, I've thought about it, but right now, no. That I want to get way before I leave or something. And he was like, okay. When he started being cold, this is somebody that was really sweet and all of that stuff. He started being cold and he ghosted me. And I think 10 months later, he reached out to me on Instagram and we started talking. And he was like, I relocated in April. And I was like, oh, congrats. And he was like, he felt like he owed me. He needed to tell me something. And I was like, what's up? Instead of the time he was talking to me, there was this other girl he was talking to, but she was in the UK and he wanted to relocate. And she had a crush on him. And I liked her. And I was like, okay, she was aligned with what you wanted at the time. You wanted to leave, and I didn't fit into that. And I was like, don't worry, I understand. I'm not blaming you for anything. This is how bad things are right now, and it's tiring.
So even now, it now borders into relationship. I think Chine, you're about to. If Chine can still hear us, you are in the UK right now. So are you saying that people now factor your data potentials for the date you?
That goes without saying.
You said that goes
Without saying.
Yeah, people do. People check if at least even if you can't jackpot, you should be able to like travel.
And on quotes, do you have a bright future? Are you about to leave this country or not? Or do you want to stay here with me?
Honestly, there's a lot of money to be made here in Nigeria.
Yes, but the security, the value of the money.
It's one of the few countries in the world where you can literally be a nobody today and tomorrow with the right person in the right office, you can be a multi-millionaire. Nigeria is one of the few countries where that can happen.
Yes,
somebody that
your
knows
safety.
Somebody.
Well, if we're looking at that, you literally can buy almost anything here. But to be honest, in Nigeria, we live.
Even the power of money is reducing now. So people are buying your money doesn't guarantee you
that God they protect.
Comfort. You're living into God.
I think the power of money is reducing, but the power of people are still not reduced. If you know the right people,
the power of
it's supposed to be like that. You should know somebody before you go to
Okay, let's hear Chine. Chine is trying to say something. Chine,
what she's asking is supposed to be like that.
See, let me. Okay, Chine, go. Let Chine say what she has to say. I'll chime in something once she's done.
No, I was just trying to say, but it's not actually supposed to be like that. You don't have to know somebody before you get into a position or something like that. Like, you don't have to know anybody, but the system in Nigeria has just made it like that. It's either you know somebody or you have the money. Like, I wanted to, this experience still just gives me, like, it still makes me realize that, okay, so there are even still good people in Nigeria. And that happened when I wanted to collect my transcript from my school. And somebody directed me to one man that works in the transcript and records office. I was like, even if you apply for your transcript, you just have to know somebody that works in the transcript and records office to help you, push it and all of that. And then I collected the man's number. I contacted him. He put me through on how to apply for the transcript and everything. And then I was expecting this man to be like, so this is how much you're going to pay. But believe you me, this man went all out for me. Until today, he did not ask me for any money.
Do you feel like you owe him?
I used to feel like I owed him, but since I came into this country, I discovered that is even how people do things. Like, nobody's asking you for money. That is not how the system is. No, I don't feel like I owe him anything. I just feel like that's his job.
The barest minimum that when we see somebody working properly, we'll be like, oh my God, he's Messiah.
Exactly, the word is breadcrumbing. They keep breadcrumbing us with everything.
I want to say something.
Yeah, I was going to say. I think had addressed what I wanted to distinguish. So there is really the part of relationship building, which is very important. And this is not peculiar to Nigeria; it's peculiar to every country of the world. Yes. You need to be able to build healthy relationship with people for you to excel. That goes without saying, whether it's in America, whether it's abroad, because sometimes
Your money will
I'm an
thank you
entrepreneur.
sometimes. Sorry.
Most times, actually, we are funded by.
It's people that get you access most times.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Jerry. That's the word. People get you access. Where there is a problem is when people begin to place a demand on unnecessary demand or something for the access that you should naturally have. But for us to move forward, we need people, we need a relationship.
Yeah.
Like someone like you said, sometimes a simple gift in a box to someone to say Merry Christmas, you understand, goes a long way in opening doors for your future generation. You get, so there's a power of relationship. And this is not romantic relationship now. There's a power of relationship that we all should not undermine. You can't sit in your house and just continue to pray things into existence. So
You need to go out and network.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, guys. You guys have said a whole lot, and we don't want the podcast running 2 hours because trust me, we can do 3 hours on this, and we never still come out because
Nigeria,
the matter old past 1914.
you can talk for years about Nigeria and you will still not get a headway. So
Oh my god! All right, just on a closing, let's just get you guys closing remarks. What do you have to say? Elections are coming. Very, what do you have to say before we leave?
can I go last, please?
Okay, you want to go last, Sarah?
Okay, so the elections are forthcoming. I would urge people to go out and vote. And when you get to the polling booth, stop thinking about if this person is from this tribe or this person is from this tribe. Think about your future generation. Think about your children. Think about how old you will be in the next 8 years. Think about that before you cast your vote, please. We are suffering. We are suffering enough. Think about the fact that we deserve the most basic things. We deserve it. We have the right to it. Like we pay taxes. So we deserve these things before you cast your vote. Don't think about your stomach. Don't think about the money they're going to give you now. Just think about what's going to happen in a year, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years from now before you vote. Please, we are begging you. We are begging you. Don't let us now start raining curses on you after the election. Please.
That was very hard. That was moving.
That was
And
intense. All right,
Very-
Chine, are you with us?
Yes,
Okay, what do you have to
Yeah.
say?
just like Sarah said, the elections are in a couple of days because we're already in February. So, in fact, everybody should just go out and vote. Please, they should go out and vote. And when they're voting, just like Sarah said, at the back of their minds, just have it that this is like my life. Vote like, I mean, will I say cast your votes now? Like your life depends on it, because this is 8 years of your life, and I mean, if things are good, if things are good, it's definitely going to be good for everybody. So if in fact people should just everybody should just forget about the 5,000 naira that they will give and persuade them to vote for them now, or the sachet of rice or beans that they share, and just do the right thing. Do the right thing. Trust me, Nigerians, in our hearts, we know that this person, we know what this person can do, and we know what this
Right.
other person can do. We have seen it, but people will just still be hiding under let's say the what do I call it now? Is it hiding under the canopy of what they can get in the now, not thinking about the future. So I would really advise and urge everyone to, do things right, do the right thing. Basically. Just do the right thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. All right, voila.
Yeah, and thanks everyone. So what I would just want to say is this: number one, let us be that change that we desire as much as possible. People problem cannot be underemphasized in building the Nigeria of our dream. let Francis, Jeremiah, Sarah, Chinaya be an ambassador of that change wherever we are and implement. Let's start from building um, small river before we go into the ocean. Another thing is that let's also try as much as possible to not add to the existing problem the little way we can, uh, involuntarily or voluntarily in a peaceful manner. My prayer, my hope, even as the election come near, is that we doing what we're supposed to do as voting for whoever we desire to vote for, that the election above everything should be free and fair, and that the system should be in our favor to be able to bring in the right person that would implement change. More than that, whoever comes on as the winner, God should also touch their heart to be able to give us the change that we so called, that we so desire. Lastly, our prayer is to have a Nigeria where the son of nobody will become somebody without knowing anybody.
That's beautiful.
Stolen, hashtag stolen before they come for me.
So you have to be already speaking. All right,
Thank you.
Jerry, your mic is on mute. Unmute your mic.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys. Been an honor, like sharing this panel with you guys. So what I would say is, like Bola said, be the change you desire, and then so my soundbite here would be before you think about labels, be like your ethnicity, your tribe, your party, religion. Always think humanity first. So
Hmm.
think about what's best for humanity, what's best for yourself, and what's best for your neighbor before you start thinking about am I a Christian or am I Muslim? Am I Igbo? Am I Yoruba? Am I Edo? Am I whatever tribe or ethnicity? Then secondly, as elections draw near, I would advise people to go out there and vote for who or what, because I think it's best to vote for an ideal than to vote for a person, even though we are voting for people. But vote for what you think you would want your children or your generations to experience and enjoy and be proud of.
Thank you very much, guys, for honoring this invitation. Paula just left. I suppose
Okay.
probably it's a network thing. But honestly, you guys were amazing. Your inputs were just amazing. Sarah, thank you so much for doing this. Jerry, you were awesome. Chine, I didn't even know you were going to turn up because I know you're working with all the visiting. Bola, I know maybe you get to see this later, but thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you so much, guys. If you're watching this, please subscribe, like, share with members of the circle. I've been requested to share this session with you guys. It has to do politics. Let's just do it right this time around. And like Jerry said, humanity first. Vote for ideals. Thank you guys and see you guys later. Cheers.
All right, cheers.
Bye everybody.
Okay.